What's up, you guys? I just want to go over these Illuminati cards real quick. What's up, guys? All right, so I recorded this once without hitting record, so we're going to try this again. I only did a couple, thank goodness. We'll start with Phone Freaks. This one shows a punk rocker, sort of has the Mike Tyson tattoo on his face with a payphone, and the payphone has an Illuminati symbol on it. It says, what is that? Mojo, love. Not sure what that top one is. Then there's an X with the D. So tell me what you guys see there from this one, okay? Interesting, just a punk rocker of some sort. It says it's science and computer. Very interesting. All right. This next one we have Eco Gorillas. This one says SS Seal Slayer. It looks like they blew the ship up. Can't tell though if that's what they're trying to imply here with that. It says a direct attack to destroy corporate groups. I'll be putting this on the screen. That'll be better. We got the Bill Clinton card here. It states he's straight, liberal, sometimes government, and he's got his leash on attached to the Hillary card, if you've ever seen that before. And he's flipping a coin, probably deciding what side he's going to take on the matter, conservative or liberal. He was kind of both in a way. United Nations, it shows a younger person in the background not really caring, being drowned out possibly by a computer or something. And then you have the two United Nations people arguing with each other. The old guy with the white old guy with a monocle, and the black, somewhat seems like an African of some sort, descendant. Urban gangs. We all know about the gangs and how the government controls them and have for so long. And Tupac, Biggie, just everything, you know. I Kill the MC and stuff like that. It's just funny. Turns out most of these people are gay as well. But there's that for you. I used to listen to rap music as well. And I can see through it now, you know. All right. We got Gordo Romero. It looks like it's some sort of like Latino talk show host. Next up, Gordo. People who believe in conspiracies, are they nuts or just too stupid to live? You decide. Very interesting picture. He says he's a liberal media. We got Imelda Marcos. Seems to be owning a shoe store of some kind, or fashion at the least. Can we stop at the shoe store, she says? I'm not sure. She might just be a criminal mastermind to some degree, but I don't know. Her hair is skunk colored with black and white, and she's wearing a pink gown of some sort. She looks like she has money. Okay, so apparently this lady was actually she was a Filipino lady who was in office. It says she was a Filipino politician who was the first lady of the Philippines from 1965 to 1986. She held a lot of power when the country went into martial law in 1972. So, she's the mother of the current president, Bongbong Marcos. The bronze head. Its first recorded owner was Roger Bacon. He said it foretold the future. It does that and much more. So, some sort of talking head. I've heard of things like this before. All throughout history, just random weird things like the assassins had a head. Who was it? Was it Orpheus that had his head like lobbed off? And he's like the Greek hero, basically. He had his head lobbed off, and in the river, it still gave out predictions and things and prophecy. If I'm not mistaken, Orpheus, I believe is his name. But the bronze head, interesting, unique magic artifact. It says. We got another unique magic artifact here, the Death Mask. Whoever wears it can see a slightly different world through its staring eye holes. And when the mask is removed, the different world is the true one. So that's like saying that our world is basically fake. A little bit of the Matrix type of thing. Some They Live type of goggles right here. Anti-nuclear activist. We've actually seen these popping up right now. I wonder if they will go nuclear on us. Start talking about that stuff. Very interesting, because we've actually seen a couple different instances of those pop up recently. England, we got a man here dressed dapper with his T in Big Ben, of course. And the T has the Illuminati symbols all over it. And it says, though England's power is reduced today, her influence is still felt everywhere. So we all know England is apparently the size of Indiana or smaller or something like that, around that size. And they've done really well at taking over the world at different times. So very interesting. Island. If it says KKK. If the KKK makes or aids an attempt to destroy any peaceful group, all violent groups in that attack on both sides have double power. So the KKK shown here with the burning cross, the white hood. Not much to it, really. Not much to that one. We got California here. We got two nude people, I'm assuming, blonde hair. They are drinking some drinks by the jacuzzi. And that's California. I guess that would make sense if the fallen angels were the Pleiadians type of thing, with the blonde hair, and then like Los Angeles, you know, city of the angels and all that. If that was like considered their, you know, lineage right there. I'm not sure though. I'm not saying they're all bad either or anything. TV preachers. This one's got the blonde-haired preacher with the money coming out to his hands and a book and a watch. Very interesting. It's funny how the scripture, they really make the scripture bookmark look just like a snake's tongue on this one. I find that interesting. Very interesting. All right. And then we got vampires here. Not looking like the Twilight vampires. These ones are looking a bit creepy. Trying to see if there's anything special on this card that I don't notice. Very interesting though. Just looks like a long-haired beast of some degree. We got MTV, playing on MTV, and it's a spiral with the lips talking out of the TV and the kids getting hypnotized. Interesting card. We got loan sharks here. We got this dude looking like he's like a Dominican or Cuban or something going on here, but he's ready to punch this dude with brass knuckles over his loan sharkness. It's Wednesday. Where's my $6,000? So loan sharking. We got the Ford Motor Company, supposedly trying to be like Ford here. Carriages without horses shall go, and accidents fill the world with woe. Mother Shipton. Quote right there. I'm going to look up and see if Mother Shipton was an actual person real quick. Let's take a look, shall we? Okay, it says Mother Shipton is a real person. She's a prophetess. She's described as a witch. Oh, interesting. She's associated with the folklore involving the origin of the roll-right stones of Oxfordshire. Reportedly, a king and his men transformed a stone after failing her test. That's interesting. And it's called the roll-right stones, like the Rolling Stones. That's really interesting. Oh, man. Wow. The first known edition of her prophecies was printed in 1641, 80 years after her reported death. This timing suggests that what was published was a legendary or mythical account. It contained numerous, mainly regional predictions and only 2 prophetic verses. Honestly, I didn't know a lot about this lady. It turns out that she has very like interesting birth and everything else. Was born disfigured. It says that she was basically just born a witch, you know? She became a herbalist. She married a guy, and people said that she was so ugly that she witched him. Wow. Apparently this is from Charles Henley book, a fictional version of what she said. Carriages without horses shall go, and accidents will fill the world with woe. Iron in the water shall float, as easy as a wooden boat. So that's interesting. But it says that the guy, Charles Henley, when he wrote this, that trains and ships were already there. So, who knows? Well, she was a witch. All right. The Ford Motor Company. All right. Fast food chains. Would you like fries with that, it says? Got maggots growing out of it and so on. And flies. Order the flies, Earthling, it says. It says, nobody has any idea what's in those secret recipes. And when they find out, they forget again. How true is that? We know that those things made up in McDonald's and everything else, that's not even food at this point. That's a science experiment. Saddam Hussein on here. I've heard stories about him possibly having access to, like, you know, the ancient Iraq god Sumerian stuff and everything else, and that's part of the reason. And then there was a Stargate in Iraq, and that's why, and the Giants were guarding it, and who knows? Very interesting. I'm trying to find out more stuff on here. Shows him with an Illuminati pendant, though, so I mean, they're just assuming that everybody's part of it. The FBI is on here. There's a bit of a triangle in the background of this one, but for the most part, I don't see anything. So it says attempt to destroy a criminal group or control a criminal group. So that's what, like, the CIA does too. They'll just try to control certain things, and then power corrupts as well. The Hammer of Thor. This one looks like a Yu-Gi-Oh card or something. This mystic artifact can act once per turn. It's a unique magic artifact. Interesting. Multinational oil companies. Shows the oil being pumped out of the earth. In a game with more than 2 players, when this group, blah, blah, blah. Interesting. Recording industry. Bullet board top 10. It's hard to see into these cards a bit. But it shows a singer singing away, showing that they rule the music industry. Las Vegas, Now, people like Russian vids showed that Jason Aldean got a tattoo similar to this, apparently. I live right by Las Vegas, and I've always been around the casinos, so I could see through them pretty well. Rogue Bomber. Oh, Rogue Boomer, I'm sorry. So that could be a nuclear missile sub from any nation going rogue. Makes you wonder. We got Angel's Feather. Unique magical artifact. Looks to be pure white, somewhat light blue, with a golden hue. Orbital mind control lasers. This one reminds me of Jesse Ventura, of course. This guy is seen in his pajamas, so he's in bed. Makes you wonder if like the abductions or anything like that could be thoughts implanted in somebody's brain. The Spear of Longinus. I'm not sure who that is. Let's take a look. Oh, okay. So he's the guy who actually physically pierced Jesus with the spear. Looks similar to Zeus. Looks similar to Zeus in this painting, but or statue, I'm sorry. But interesting nonetheless. Apparently it's also called the Holy Lance. It's the lance gave the last of the 5 holy wounds to Christ. And he's a saint in the Roman Catholic Church? What? Interesting. I'll look more into that later. We got the Bjorn. Looks like a Viking. I love you all, ho ho. Bjorn. Let's see. So, I haven't watched the show, the Vikings or anything, but it looks like it's the Norse Viking chief and Swedish king. Bjorn was the guy. I love you all, ho ho. It's interesting. Shows a pink dinosaur. Not sure the connection on that one. American Auto Duel Association. This looks like, I forgot what that's even called right now. What's it called whenever? Demolition Derby, right? Almost like a death race type of thing. Interesting card. I've been to one of those one time. Moonbase. The Moonbase shows just a futuristic type of environment. Got the post office here with the gun. Of course they read the mail. During your turn, blah, 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 blah. So it's saying that they're not all they're cracked up to be on there. And the lawyer one, it says we don't have to pay taxes. The books have cobwebs on them because they don't even open them anymore. And they're just counting up their money. Classic. Trekkies. Shows people into, you know, the Comic-Cons and stuff like that. All the shows. Dan Coyle. This whole potato incident, how to spell potato. Let me see if that was actually Dan Coyle. I think it was. So he corrected some kid back in the day and they made a big old deal of it. Like, who really cares? Potato, potato, right? Tobacco companies. Shows them just a skull face. Makes sense. Video games. Space Intruders. It says on there. Guy having a good old time. Playing games. Big media. This looks very similar to the George Orwell stuff. Hallucinations. You control a powerful telepath. Unfortunately, she's totally insane, but she can act at once per turn to project her madness into the mind of any personality. So she's a telepath that is crazy, and they're saying that that's what hallucinations are from. Putting thoughts in your brains, making you hallucinate. Bigfoot here. Bigfoot has the power to distract any media group by showing himself in public. Shows him at the top of a mountain range here. Earthquake projector. Shows them toppling a city with just an earthquake. And many people think that they have these weapons. I wouldn't be surprised, like HARP and stuff like that. And beyond that, there's so much stuff we can't even think of. BATF. I'm not sure what that means. Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. Okay. That's kind of what they're trying to mean by that, I guess. Shows him drinking a beer, blowing up a thing, blah, 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 blah. Interesting. Religious Reich. Shows the two dudes. Typical. The Frog God. People were saying that Trump was the Frog God of chaos or something like that for a bit. Found that to be kind of interesting. The idols are both frightening and silly, and no one knows why the masters keep them around. Some people believe that men were frogs and women were serpents, an old way of thinking back in the day. The symbols on the frog look somewhat Egyptian, if I had to guess. Very interesting. This one's the tabloids. Shows the giant praying mantises, the UFOs, the cattle mutilations, the two-headed cow, some other stuff. Psychics predict. Psychics reveal Jackie's diet plan from heaven. The AMA has +5 for a direct attack on any science group or so if you have any American Medical Association. The Druids, powerful group. The Druids may aid or oppose any attack made. And I've heard of them being the Hollywood stuff and everything else relating back to the Druids. And the Druids had different things. When you read like Manly P. Hall, you realize that the Druids they revered the oak tree. They were the men of the forest. They were the secret societies of like the old times back in the forest, and they regarded mistletoe as being extremely significant, and all kinds of other stuff too. They healed with serpent eggs and magnetism, and they were like wizards in a lot of ways. So there's that. They played music as well, I believe. Media sensation. Shows a bunch of cameras and stuff. It's harder to say what that is. Totally. Warehouse 23. Says it's some sort of warehouse with hidden stuff. Warning, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't give too much indication of what's going on in there. We got New York. No matter what your scam, somebody in the Big Apple does it better. Ain't that the truth? They got King Kong back there. Some dude beating some guy up for some money. Looks like another dude's holding him. Boy Sprouts. Whenever the Boy Sprouts help to bring relief to a location. Actually looks like it's not a bad card. Who knows? Eliza, is it really alive or does it just think it is? Eliza kind of sounds like Alexa, the application. Looks like some sort of AI gadget. Very, very interesting. Well, I have 2 more decks here, so if you like that, let me know and we could go through those as well.